Rams house. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Just Cruising podcast. We talking Rams, Bills. Big game for us. You know, I'm sure a lot of the media and just civilians in general and sports fans definitely have us losing this week. I think for sure there's a possibility that we can definitely win this game. I think if our defense continues to put pressure on the quarterbacks like we've been doing. Again, we are a great second and long, third and long team. We're going to be that good because when it gets to those real defined moments as far as detailed for like plays where I'm talking about short distance plays, I think a lot of other teams offensively will have the upper hand on that. But we can stop the run. If they're going to try to throw deep, that's just great for us because we get to pressure as much as we possibly can. And again, I've talked about it all season long about Fisk and Verse, about them just being absolutely dominant. And for them to be this good at this young an age in this first year of their rookie contract is just astounding. And the fact that the Rams have gone back-to-back years with defensive players leading in pressures and sacks in the rookie class is just phenomenal. And it's just a kudos to Les Snead and his representatives in that office being able to identify high caliber players that mix with our fit of scheme, and that actually it's a player of need as well. So we're adjusting more than one area where it's like, how did we get so lucky to be able to draft Brennan Fisk and freaking Verse? It's just phenomenal. And Byron Young's been playing good, and Kobe Turner's been playing good. We still got freaking, again, Bobby Brown's been playing good. Tyler Davis has been playing good. Deshaun Johnson's been playing good. There's a lot of players. Obviously, Michael Hoyt's been playing amazing. Our defense is built for the future, but as long as they continue to keep us in the game with like they've done this year and they did last year, they kept us in a lot of games. Our offense has to just be able to be the key that is able to go down the field and score. And you saw it against the Saints where the defense was holding and holding and holding and holding and holding, and then the offense the first half against the Saints defense is just kind of like bizarre. We don't get much. We don't get. I think we only had I think it was 3 drives or 3 plays or some ridiculous freaking thing. It was just ridiculous. And obviously you saw that their game plan was to run the clock out, and they did a great job the first half. But my thing is, when you play a good team like the Bills, you got to be able to go down and score points, especially when the defense gets a stop. You have to go down and score points. It won't be like the Saints. If we stop them, best believe if we get a stop, the offense needs to score. That is a high-powered offense in the Bills, and we need to do our best to put ourselves in the best position to be successful and to win. And that is, when we get stops, we have to put up points. We cannot be coming up empty. If we come up empty, that just decreases our chances of winning this game. Obviously, you got Josh Allen, who was one of the MVP candidates again. He played here last year. I think it was last year or the year before when we played them week 1, and they absolutely obliterated us. Obviously, we were hurt that season. Didn't have much to really show for, really. But now we get another chance at that. And, again, you got Josh Allen. You got Cooks out there running like a maniac out there, man. Amari Cooper, Khalil Shakir, Keenan Coleman. I think he'll be back. Their tight end Dawson Knotts, and I think Kincaid's playing this week. It's going to be our defensive line versus their offensive line, and they have weapons, of course, but we need to contain Josh Allen, make sure we're not letting him get out of the pocket, make extra plays, running with his feet. Obviously, that's easier said than done. But he's one of the best premium players who can use his arm and use his legs to get a first down. Obviously, let's limit Shakir. Shakir is one of the guys he goes to the most. I think it's like over 75% of the time he goes to Shakir. Amari Cooper obviously is a name. He's been still getting into the playbook as far as being a Bill. And Coleman, I think he's still getting his bearings as well. They do a really good job of running the ball and quick passes. They're not really stretching the field like they were before, throwing it down to Gabe Davis or, trying to throw deep to who did they have last year? I can't remember who they had last year, but I know Gabe Davis is one of the guys that they let walk. They changed up their whole receiver room. Oh, Diggs is the other guy. But they've changed their whole dynamic. They're a first or a run first team, and we need to be able to stop the run. And that's going to be one of the biggest keys is if we're going to stop the run and how we play in the third game, third down against them. So obviously, offensively, their defense is pretty good too. You know, Taylor Rapp comes back to LA again. He's been playing pretty good for them. He's been a great fit for them actually, and their defense is good. You know, don't get. I'm not throwing any shade on them. They got Ed Oliver. They get back middle linebacker who's been out for the most of the year. They have some pretty good young cornerbacks. I'm trying to remember the name of them right now. This is me not looking at any of the Bills rosters. It's just off the dome. I forgot his name though. But he's like a second year, third year. Their middle linebacker core is pretty decent. Their defensive line is pretty. You know, they got boy from Greg Rousseau. He's a pretty dominant outside linebacker as well. Ed Oliver, like I mentioned. Their defense is not as bad as people think. It's pretty good. But again, it's just going to come down to our offense and what our offense is going to do against their defense. This is going to be offense versus defense show, offensive line versus defensive line on both sides. Who's going to get the bigger push? So obviously it's going to be harder for us to run the ball. They do have a good run stop. They have veterans. They have guys who, you know, AJ Epinesa too as well. They have some guys that are just able to play the game and they know how to play the game and they understand what their defense is trying to do, and they stick to their gaps. They're very gap sound. Our offensive line is gonna have to really work to move some bodies so that way we can get some Kyren movement there. I'm happy finally Blake Corum got to play a lot more. I was hoping that they would. For me, it's just more so like I've been calling it all year. Like, why did we draft him then if we're not gonna play him? I get it, he's developing, but then you have to think about the Rams and what they do with their rookies. If you look on the defensive side, you got Jalen McCoughlin, undrafted. He's playing a lot. Verse, Fisk, Byron, Kobe Turner, Cam Kitchens, all these guys, all these young guys, these rookies, Cardi. I mean, obviously we don't have another kicker and we don't have another punt, but even that, Ethan Evans last year was just jumped in. We have We have a lot of rookies that we like to play. Like all our rookies get a lot of playing time. If you get drafted by the Rams, you're gonna play your first year. You're gonna get your feet wet. You're gonna get into the scheme. You're gonna get into the play. You're gonna play the ball. You're gonna get the ball in your hands. You know. And that's what kind of bothered me a little bit. I was like, well, why, if all our other young guys are playing in all these different positions on defense, and I get it, offense and defense are totally different. But he's a running back. He's not the quarterback. I can see if he was a Stetson Bennett trying to mix him in. Like, obviously that's not going to work. But he's a running back. You want to be able to get him some carries and take the workload off Kyren. Obviously, yeah, you don't want to take too many carries away from Kyren, but at the same time, too, you need to give him a break so that way he's 100 every time he's in the game. He's at 100% energy. He can burst. He can speed through these holes. Whereas if you keep running him and he's tired and you're not subbing him in for anybody, you rarely see Ronnie Rivers come in anymore. I haven't seen him play at all, really. And that's to say too, like we haven't even seen Blake Corum play that much either. And we've seen spurts of him, but not as much as we thought we would see. And I'm glad they're finally getting him involved, and I hope they get him way more involved. They're going to need it this year for sure. Against the Bills, we're going to need to definitely change the pace of. They're both different runners. Kyren's more of like kind of like he definitely uses his vision a lot more, whereas Blake, he runs. He just goes. I'm going to run here. I see the guy. Okay, I'm just going to go. Wherever gap I see, I'm going to run and I'm going to hit it. Obviously, we're our receivers. Again, if we can block, if we can get the ball to our guys, I think we have a really good shot at winning this game. But we cannot give up any big plays. No big plays. No big plays. We cannot give up the big plays. Hold them to short. Make them earn every inch. And I could see us coming out on top and winning this game. Obviously, again, I think most of the majority of the public is going to think we're going to lose, which, is not a bad statement because, again, the Bills are 10-1 or 10-2 or something like that, and don't show any signs of slowing down. And I think they're obviously a playoff contender, Super Bowl contender. And I think we can be too under right circumstances. And hopefully, obviously, we got the Seahawks and the Cardinals playing this week. So we'll see how that goes. I think the Niners play. I can't remember who the Niners play. But hopefully, if we can get all somehow the Arizona and Seahawks to lose, let's do that. But we'll have to wait and see as things shake out. We have to, we got to keep up with the division. So this game is very imperative, and hopefully we can come out on top. But we'll have to wait and see. But I like what I've been seeing from our team. Again, regardless of what happens this year, I'm super excited for the future. We have a lot of high prospect players that are going to be playing a lot of minutes for us in the coming years, and we're going to be good. Obviously, the only position we're going to need to address is quarterback position, and you guys all know my stance. I think Stetson Bennett's the guy. I think he's going to be able to step right in and take over and be amazing for us. Obviously, we're going to need another receiver soon. Cooper Kupp's going to be retiring eventually, and we need someone to pair up with Puka. Obviously, Robinson too. He's up there in age. I think he's like 28, 27, something like that. Tyler Johnson. He's good, but he's not, obviously a player you want to continue to build around. He's been on practice squad after practice squad for a reason. Obviously, you got Jordan Whittington, who can be one of those guys. I think he's very electric. I think you saw him now. He's in the punt. He's on kick return, which is amazing because you need to get him the ball. He's a very dynamic and electric and exciting player to watch. He plays hard. And that's one of the things I love about our team in general. We're going hard. We're not taking anything off. We're going 100%, all gas, no brakes. All these rookies are going to go all in no matter what. And they're never going to stop. And that's what I love the most about this team. So with that being said, that's going to finish up this episode on the Just Cruising podcast. I hope you guys liked this video. If you like it, go ahead and drop a like. If you want to post a comment, go ahead. I know I'm not as consistent on here, but if you like a YouTube that talks about the meat and potatoes and the facts of the thing of the the facts of the situation, I'm your guy. I'm out of here, guys. I'll see you later on the next episode. Peace.